Autumn is truly my time to shine, so let's just hope it's the same story for my reading. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am taking you through the books that are on my sights for autumn this year. Every year I like to separate the year into the 4 seasons and I read books that have the kind of vibe for the next 3 months that are coming up. I follow the Celtic calendar, so I know for a lot of the Northern Hemisphere we're actually still in summer, except for Ireland. We go on a little bit of a different journey, so autumn has already started with us on the 1st of August, which means I am slightly a little bit too late in getting my autumn TB already. For autumn, I like to do a lot of thrillers, I like to do a lot of mystery books, and these are genres that I really enjoy reading, but I also like to do a little bit of cozy things. I really love the cozy vibes of autumn, wrapping up warm, sitting on the couch with a blanket and with tea and with your book. That's the kind of vibe that I live for every single year. When I am suffering through the heat of the summer, I just remind myself that autumn is on its way. The first book that I've got my sights on for autumn is The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. This is the third in the Thursday Murder Club series, and my dad and my brother have both read this and they've both loved it. I know as well that Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading has also read this and said that this was her favourite of the entire series. So I have really got high hopes for this one. It is following the Thursday Murder Club and they have been looking into a cold case that hasn't been solved for over a decade. Unfortunately, all of their work just leads them to a dead end. There is no body turns up, there is no extra clues that they can go and solve. But one night when they are in their retirement village, there is a knock on Elizabeth's door with an old foe who is introducing themselves again. Their mission is to either kill or be killed. And I'm so interested to see what's going to happen when basically one of the Thursday Murder Club themselves is going to be the one who is basically being followed for the entire book. I am so intrigued by this. I've had a really good time with the Thursday Murder Club so far. I've really loved the first one. The second one wasn't quite as good, but it was still quite up there in terms of my enjoyment. But having heard such really great reviews for this one, I cannot wait to see where we're going. I'd also really love to try out Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This is going to be my first of Riley Sager books, but I know that he is such a popular author. I have so many friends on BookTube who've absolutely loved his books, and I kind of just want to figure out if he's for me. I know that his kind of thrillers are a little bit gorier than what I would usually read, but let's just see where the road takes us. Middle of the Night follows Ethan and Billy, who on July the 15th, 1994, go to sleep together in a tent outside one of their houses in a quiet cul-de-sac in New Jersey. When Ethan wakes up the next morning, he is completely alone. The tent that they're staying in has been slashed open. Billy is nowhere to be seen. 30 years later, Ethan returns to Hemlock Circle, and this time he wants answers as to where Billy has been this entire time. I know a couple of people who've read this and who have genuinely loved it. Jess from the Hex Library said that this was her favourite Riley Sager book so far, but also that it felt quite different to what Riley Sager has been doing previously. I, obviously having no reference point, am really interested to see if this book is going to work for me, and if so, is it a stepping stone for me into his other books? Another thriller I would really love to try this autumn is And Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This was recommended to me as part of my 12 and 12 by Travel Teach Reads. It's going to be my second Lisa Jewell book, and I am so interested to see how this one is going to go because the plot genuinely intrigues me. This book is about Laurel, whose 15-year-old daughter Ellie disappeared 10 years ago, and Laurel has never given up hope that she's going to be reunited with her daughter. One day, while Laurel is just sitting reading in a cafe, she meets a really handsome stranger called Floyd. They strike it off immediately and they start to date one another and get to know each other a little better. It has gotten to the stage where they're starting to meet each other's friends, they're starting to meet each other's family, so Floyd invites Laurel to stay over one evening and to meet his 9-year-old daughter Poppy. Something, however, that is intriguing Laurel is that Poppy looks like a carbon copy of Ellie when Ellie was around 9 or 10 years old, and this is starting to make her a little worried. I cannot wait to see where this story is going to go. It genuinely sounds so intriguing to me, and I have to get a copy of it. Moving away from the thrillers and going into something a little cozier, I would also really love to try The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sandhu Mangana. This was also recommended to me as part of my 12 in 24, and this time it was recommended by Julie from Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. This is following Mika, who is one of the only witches in Britain, and she's basically living a very isolated life. She doesn't let a lot of people into her world, and she was also orphaned as a young child, so she doesn't have any family members that she's going to rely on. What she does have is a YouTube channel where she basically tells people what it is like to be a witch, because there is no way anyone out there is going to believe what she says. However, it is starting to attract a little bit of attention, and she is given an invite to come and join the Nowhere House. This is a society for people who feel like they are kind of ostracized from society and a little bit out on the edge. While she's there, not only does she get to know the other people who are living in the house, but she also catches the eye of Jamie. Jamie is the librarian of the house, but he is incredibly prickly and incredibly grumpy. However, when the peace of Nowhere House is slightly threatened, everybody has to band together and keep everything going. I'd also really love to try out the Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laura Gilmore. This has everything I want in a book. It is set in a small town, it has super cozy vibes, and it has to do with a cafe or food. And that is basically Aoife in a book, kryptonite. This book is following Jeannie and Logan. Jeannie's aunt gifts her the Pumpkin Spice Cafe in a very small town, and Jeannie decides this is the perfect escape that she needs from her deadbeat office 9-to-5 job. So she packs everything up and heads out. The problem is that Logan, who is one of the other business owners in the town, isn't super happy about her arrival. But her infectious personality and her willingness to help out and to really integrate herself into the community might just be the thing to thaw him out a little bit. I absolutely love a cozy small town romance, and I am pretty sure that that is exactly what we're going to be getting here. I know as well that this is the first in a series, and that the Cinnamon Bun bookstore is also coming out in 2024. I think it's coming out sometime in August. So if I love this, I instantly know there's another book going on my TBR after it. Finally, I would also really like to try A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. Once again, this came from my 12 and 24 recommendations list, and this was recommended by Victoria from What Victoria Read. This sounds to me a little bit like the plot of that episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where the aunts and Sabrina bake a guy out of dough for her to bring as a prom date. This is following Mariel. She is prophesied to be one of the world's strongest witches, definitely the strongest witch in the Spark family, but much to her mother's chagrin, she is much more comfortable with baking and with gardening than with hexing or with brewing potions. One evening, while Mariel is baking, she accidentally summons a demon with whom she has a soul tie. I cannot wait to see what it's going to be like when Mariel and Ozrath are going to date each other. I'm really interested to see how this is going to go, because it seems a little bit more fantastical than the other books that are on this list. And we know that Fantasy and I haven't really had the best relationship. So I'm going to go into it with a very open mind. I'm going to just see how we get along, and hopefully this one is just going to hit the mark. Those are all of the books that I am going to try and focus on for autumn for this year. Have you got any books in your sights for autumn, or have any of those books already caught your eye? If you'd love to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me the red scarf emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.